What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nightmares Podcast, where we talk about all things horror, horror movies, horror video games, horror series, horror art, comics, and every once in a while we will interview folks to talk about their experiences with horror and what they're giving to the Midwest horror community as well. And I am joined by, of course, Zachary Smith and Brandon Rakowski. I don't have any cute nicknames for them. I just call them by their actual names. Not everybody can have cute nicknames like Zack does. Zach, what are we talking about today?
I'm going to stab you.
What else is new? You always want to stab me. You want to stab Brandon. You want to stab everybody.
This is very true.
At least you're a creature of habit. So, Zach, we watched The Final Girls, and Zach absolutely loved the movie. Watched it again recently, and I watched it again last night. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to hear us talk about how great it is, go and check out our other podcast about The Final Girls. But Zach's one complaint about it was that the mask. He didn't care for the mask of Billy. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to discuss our favorite horror masks. Whether it be through movies, video games, comics if you got them. And then also maybe some television series as well. That would be a pretty good topic. So I will unless Zach is looking at me like he wants to add something to this conversation. But
a little bit of blood, a little bit of spice, a few more things, but that's just about it.
And Chemical X.
No.
All right. So without further ado, I'm gonna let Zachary, American Psycho, go
It's
ahead.
American Zacko, Mark. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
So
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to return some videotapes.
Sit down.
Oh.
Anyway, so go ahead, man. List off your favorite horror movie masks.
All right, well, I'll start with the most basic one. So I'm going to do one from a movie, one from a video game, and one from a comic and movie.
Okay.
Okay. So,
works.
first one, of course, as we all know, I'm a Predator fanatic. So, of course, Predator masks are just overall, most of them, there's only a handful that I think are really stupid looking. But for the most part, every Predator mask in existence is just purely badass and awesome. If you don't want to have a Predator mask, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why wouldn't you want a Predator mask? You can see it in all sorts of vision modes, and it just looks cool. You look like a hunter badass, and you just want to rip somebody's skin off. Maybe take their skull out and hang it on your wall because it's fucking awesome, and that person really annoys you.
I think Zach has some issues he's got to work out. But anyway,
I have no issues, Mark.
Did somebody make you mad this weekend?
Plenty of people have made me mad this week. Brandon, it's me. And we live just in a really fucking, I don't know, squirrels.
Anyway, so go on with your list.
Okay, so number one Predator mask. Specifically, my favorite Predator mask is the Alien Predator mask from the Alien vs. Predator game. It came out in 2010. You got this by pre-ordering the game from GameStop because, you know, pre-orders, you have to pre-order to get all the cool shit and all that. But yeah, it was a mixture. It was like the top head, it was just like the basic normal Predator mask, but at the bottom it had like a xenomorph mouth attached to it. It's really fucking sick. So yeah, that's my number one. Number two, the Terror mask from, I believe that's what it's called, Terror mask from Splatterhouse, the video game. Any of you guys ever played Splatterhouse before?
No, never.
I know of the game, but I've seen clips, I've seen playthroughs, but I've never actually played it myself.
Did you see the one that came out, I think it was 2009, or the originals on the Sega?
The originals.
The originals, okay.
I had no idea there was a new one.
Yeah, it was a remake. It was really fucking awesome. But yeah, so the Terror mask is a mask that once you put it on, you turn into this big hulking badass that just,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
You turn into this big hulking badass that essentially just rips and tears people
Is that the
apart.
mask that's the Jason ripoff?
It's not a Jason ripoff.
Then what's the one I'm thinking of?
Okay, well, it is kind of a... All right. If you look at the very first game, it is clearly inspired by Jason, but I wouldn't call it a Jason ripoff.
Dude, if
Mark, it looks like you have a picture pulled up on your phone. Do you want to show it to
I'm
me?
gonna have to call specifically a Jason X ripoff.
Okay, yeah.
Even though this predates Jason X by...
Okay, so here's
years?
the thing. The first game came out in the late 80s, I believe.
Okay, well,
And
then
as
maybe.
the mask evolves, so throughout the three games, the mask kind of evolves. In the third game, it absolutely does look more like Jason X, just more in a bone fashion, because the mask is essentially made out of bones. But once you put this on, it essentially turns you just into a Hulk that is fueled by blood, and your mission is to go through this mansion, rip and tear every demon apart trying to save your girlfriend. But it is just super fucking awesome.
Nice. Dude, you should play this for Let's Play a game at some point.
If I could get a capture card for my PS3, I would, but that's a pain in the ass right now.
That's an assignment for a different day.
Yeah. But very fun game, very awesome. The originals are fan-fucking-tastic. I believe this was one of the first games, because this predates Mortal Kombat. Splatterhouse was one of the first games to actually have a warning label on it due to all the violence, blood, and gore that it came with the game. Yeah.
Good times, good stuff.
Splatterhouse.
Yeah.
M ratings before M ratings were a thing.
That was a side scroller, right?
Yeah, 2D side scroller. Oh, ow.
Careful, Mark.
Ow.
Mark's breaking
There's a table
tables.
there.
My Italianness got ahead of me. My ability to want to move hands.
His arms are flailing about. He can't help it.
Yeah, it's part of my DNA.
Unless you put a bowl of pasta in front of him, his hands are going to be unstable.
Or any kind of Italian food. Anyway, move on, Brandon.
Idle Hands are the devil's playthings. Which I still need to see that movie, Idle Hands.
I have not
There's a
seen
movie called Idle Hands.
Yeah, it's with Seth Green and Devin Sawa.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow, very
Yeah, I was
nice.
talking about it with Victor in Michigan this past week, and I was telling him how Scream Factory did a collector's edition Blu-ray, and we looked up like what all the special features were, and he recommended it, but it sounded like he hadn't seen it in a really long time. So I don't know. Maybe we'll bring him back on the Screaming Room soon for
horror
Idle
movie?
Hands. It's a horror comedy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, we'll see. That's a conversation for another time.
Indeed it is.
Any other masks? Any other things you want to talk about? Predator or Splatterhouse related?
Okay, so I'll move on to my third mask, and my third mask is The Mask, Loki's mask from the movie The Mask and the comic The Mask. Even though I never read the comics before, I fucking love the movie.
They're very different from the movie.
Oh,
I have no
yeah.
doubt. But like in the comics, this is what I know. In the
horror.
comics, it's literally horrifying. He is batshit fucking crazy and murders everything in, well, maybe not everything in sight, but he murders the shit out of a lot of people.
From what I hear, the comic is bloody.
Oh yeah,
It is.
And what I find funny is, so they got Chuck Russell, the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and the 1988 Blob, to direct The Mask. And it was his idea, the horror director's idea, to make it a comedy.
There's a great episode of Good Bad Flicks about it.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to complain because that movie was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, great movie.
I watched that movie hundreds of times as a kid.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Dude, the whole thing where he tears up the mechanics and he shoves this shit up their ass, like that's directly lifted from the comic.
Yeah.
That's a direct thing, except it's much more
less violent.
much more tame.
Yeah, and
much more
Justin
tame.
and I actually watched that very recently, actually, within the last 2 weeks probably, and it still holds up really well.
The Mask?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I would love to rewatch that movie. Don't bother with the sequel.
Yeah, we just pretended
the
this.
sequel was complete and utter trash.
Okay, since this is somewhat video game adjacent related, maybe you know the answer to this, Zach?
Let me hear it.
Okay, I think it was a Nintendo Power contest where it was like the winner would have a walk-on extra role in The Mask 2, and this was a contest that was in like 94, 95, like when the first movie first came out. And then, of course, as things tend to happen in Hollywood, actors, directors, writers move on to other projects, financing becomes an issue, other issues come along, and The Mask 2 never got made until the Jamie Kennedy Son of the Mask in 2005?
I know it was somewhere in the middle of somewhere between 4 and 7.
Roughly 10 years, we'll say an estimated 10 years
Yeah.
after the first movie. So I wonder if the winner of that contest was eventually offered his walk-on role for the Mask sequel.
Look, I have no idea. You said Nintendo Power?
I think it was Nintendo
I'm surprised
Power.
Nintendo had any correlation with the Mask. No one.
Could
how
you
they
imagine
rolled
getting
back
that
then.
phone call? Like after that many
Like 10
years?
years, yeah.
10 years.
Do they even have his phone number after that point? I mean, shit.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that probably never happened.
Probably
Never got around to happening because 10 years. That's a long time, and who knows? Maybe the guys that wasn't even alive at the time. A lot can happen in 10 years. People die in very mysterious ways.
Sure. The Mask was fucking awesome. I was always a big fan of The Mask. There was great
Yeah,
visual
that was
effects.
absolutely, in my opinion, Jim Carrey's best role. In my opinion, I love that movie.
Dude, honestly, this is a suggestion that is not original among a lot of people who are fans of The Mask. What they should do at this point is remake it, but remake it far more like the comics and actually have it as a straight up horror movie. With some dark comedy associated with it.
You know, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I feel like today they somehow fuck it up just like they do everything else. So
Yeah, it depends on who it gets released by. I think there could be some good stuff done with that. It would have to be extremely effects driven. Like you would definitely want as much blood and guts as it is in the comic. The comic, like he actually like takes people's faces off and shit, doesn't he? And then wears them. So I mean, like
I've actually never read them, but I do believe there are some paperback omnibuses that collect the comics. I'm checking how much they go for right now.
I would definitely be down to doing that for like a comic book episode.
Yeah, they're doing new editions of the Mask omnibuses. Volume 1 on Amazon is $25. Volume 2 is $18.45.
that's not bad.
Not
Bad at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. Volume 1 collects the Mask Returns, and the Mask Strikes Back. So you basically get the first 3 stories in the first collection.
Nice. Yeah, I'd definitely be down to doing like an actual review of that in a later podcast. That'd actually be pretty cool.
Look, Dark Horse.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe that is Dark Horse.
That is Dark Horse.
So it's probably really good.
Most likely.
Oh, look at that. There's even a Splatterhouse comic.
Sweet. Yeah.
But is that one any good?
It could be.
And you only just heard about it 2 seconds ago.
Well, there's a lot of video game comics out there that go under the radar for reasons I'll never understand. So, yeah.
So Zach, any other last thoughts on your favorite masks?
No. If you haven't played the Splatterhouse games, both the PS3 one or the originals, I fully recommend them. Hell, if you get the one for PS3, it has the original 3 games included. The first 2 are absolutely the best. The third one's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's still a fun game.
So it follows the Donkey Kong Country formula?
Kind of.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's an old
Also the third one goes from 2D side scroller to just a fucking beat 'em up essentially. So. And it's kind of open. You're traveling a match and you're trying to save your family and everything like that. Multiple endings, but it's just a royal pain in the ass.
Like when they eventually turned one of the Splinter Cells into a ripoff of Dead Rising, where everything is a weapon. I think it was like 4, like Splinter Cell 4. They basically changed the whole like design of the fucking thing
That doesn't sound like a bad thing now.
I mean, but it came out exactly at the same time as Dead Rising, and everybody's like, that is a blatant Dead Rising ripoff. It's like Dead Rising without the zombies.
I don't know.
And I'm like, it's a good model, but like...
Look, I would never compare Splinter Cell to Dead Rising just because one is a huge stealth game and the other one is you're in a mall murdering zombies.
Dude, that is the reason why people were so upset about it, is because it literally...
That's a shitty comparison.
No, but like...
Everything's a weapon. Okay, that's not a bad thing.
But how the gameplay was done, it's literally an exact mock-up of Dead Rising.
I don't know, I gotta play it. Splinter, I've never really gone deep into the Splinter Cell games. I want to.
Play 1 and 2. They're pretty good. Yeah. Fucking love the Dead Rising series, though. Very much enjoyed, especially the first one.
Oh, yeah, the first one is absolutely the best, by far.
Dude, especially when you finally get, the Atom suit, or, the fucking full, like the Iron Man knockoff suit. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Definitely a fun game.
Gotta go through hell and high water to get the Mega Man blaster, but
that's the thing. The whole Mega Man suit, you gotta do a bunch of ridiculous shit to actually do it.
I forgot what you need to do to get the Mega Man suit, but the blaster, you have to 14 hours straight in the survival mode, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Hope your power doesn't go out, because you're fucked if that happens.
Dude, the way to get the bottom half of the suit is you have to kill 20,000 zombies.
Oh, that's
in one
not
round.
hard. I can do that.
The
killing zombies isn't a problem for me. It's the surviving for 14 hours straight, because you can't save it, you can't pause, you can't leave, because if you leave, you just die over time. So it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Never played Dead Rising, Zach? Brendan.
No.
Sorry, you kind of left out on this one, buddy.
Yeah.
It's
available for PS4. You can get it.
It is a great zombie game. Actually,
It is fun as fuck.
It's fun as fuck. Like it's literally it's the same. It's pretty much the same plot as which Dawn of the Dead is the one in the mall. I always fucking mix them up. I know you hate me for that.
Which
but
Dawn of the Dead is the one in the mall?
is it Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
Son of a bitch. The son of a bitch. I know there's so many different ones. It drives me nuts.
There's Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
There's Dawn of the Dead.
Yep.
Dawn of the Dead is the one in the mall,
Yep.
both original and remake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then there's Day of the Dead,
Yeah.
which is probably my personal favorite of the Romero movies.
Is it the one with the punk rockers?
No.
Damn.
Day of the Dead is the one with Bub. They're in the underground military bunker.
Okay.
Dawn of the Dead is also really good, but it just more stands out of my mind from Day of the Dead.
Fair enough.
Then there's Land of the Dead
All right.
with Dennis Hopper.
Oh, Jesus.
Then and Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright have little cameos in there as well.
No shit, really.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Then there is Diary of the Dead, which is the found footage one.
Oh, I didn't.
Don't waste your time with that one.
All right, fair enough. I was like,
Then
oh,
there
this
is...
On a level of Hellraiser, that one found footage Hellraiser movie.
Never saw it, so I can't compare.
Okay. Because I was going to say that fucking Hellraiser movie was...
from Clover.
I heard it was pretty bad.
From Cloverfield to Paranormal Activity Part 5.
I never saw part 5.
I know,
I was only okay on Cloverfield. And
Really?
yeah.
Oh.
First Cloverfield I was only okay on.
Oh,
Like, there's a lot I appreciate about it, but as far as actually watching it as a movie, it's just okay.
I know you're not a found footage fan.
10 Cloverfield Lane is great, but that's not found footage. A really good found footage movie I've seen since our found footage podcast, but it's not a horror movie, but it is made by a guy who did make a horror comedy. So that's my loose connection for bringing it up.
Fair enough.
It's called Tex Montana Will Survive.
Never even heard of it.
That
It's
sounds weird, but okay.
Super low budget. And
A found footage movie is super low budget?
what?
What?
It was crowdfunded, and they reached a certain goal where they just released it for free. Amazon Prime, YouTube, you can just watch it. It's out there for free. Tex Montana Will Survive. It's basically just one guy and a camera. There's one other scene that has other people in it late in the movie. A crew of 6 people made it out in the woods. And it's basically about this host of a nature survivalist show who's called out as a fraud. So he decides to survive on his own for 30 days in the woods.
Nice. That's one way to prove him wrong.
Was there something about a map?
Dude.
And were people in the audience pissed off by the end of the movie?
I thought the ending was hilarious. It's one of
Okay.
those movies where it's in the wrong hands, it could have very easily just been the most self-indulgent, boring thing. And it does teeter on that at times, but the parts that are funny are absolutely hilarious.
Nice. Okay. So when it lands, it lands.
Yes, and I thought the ending itself landed really well.
Good. They still think he's a phony.
I won't spoil it.
Don't be that guy, Zach. Don't be that guy.
It sounds like one of those obvious endings. It's like, you can try all you want. They're still going to call bullshit.
The ending I really do not want to spoil because it cuts to something at the very end where you're just like the ending happens and you're like, yeah, okay. And then it cuts to a certain amount of time later and it's just the funniest, most ridiculous thing. I can't even
Say no more.
Yeah,
Say no more.
yeah, it's on YouTube, it's on Amazon Prime. It's worth a watch.
Yes, Zach. Did you have a question?
I did, but I don't remember it.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. And so to conclude talking about the Romero movies, then there is Survival of the Dead, which I know I watched. I have it. I have seen it. But much like Joss Whedon's Justice League, I don't remember a single thing from it.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I don't know. Something happened in Croatia, or I don't know.
Croatia?
Something happened there. I don't know. That's literally all I remember about Justice League.
And then in 1990, Tom Savini remade Night of the Living Dead, which I actually think is better than the original. The original does deserve its spot in horror history, and this is not... I'm not saying this as a pun. I legitimately mean this. I do feel the original Night of the Living Dead does have a lot of dead air in it.
It is. It's a slow burn.
Yeah, whereas the Tom Savini remake is a much tighter pacing, I felt. James Gunn wrote and Zack Snyder directed the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Which I enjoyed.
I enjoyed that as
James
well.
Gunn wrote that?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. Dude, I used to do the whole chainsaw thing. Was
And
awesome.
Heather Langenkamp did the makeup for it, I believe, or she was at least on the
Really?
makeup
Oh,
team.
well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. Dude, what's the movie where half of the zombie chick is in the examiner's room and she explains why zombies eat?
Return of the Living Dead.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, which was, I think, written or at least co-written by, I am blanking on his name, but the other guy for Night of the Living Dead. Mm-hmm. And basically he took the Living Dead part of the title and Romero just took the Dead part of the title, which is why there was a separation between the two of them.
Very much like divorced parents.
Kind of, yeah. There might be more to that.
I'll get this half.
That story might not even be true. I don't know. I honestly don't know much about that story, so I don't want to go too much into it and spout out false information unknowingly.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Return of the Living Dead, first one, the punk rock one,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Dan O'Bannon directed it, I believe, of Alien
shit.
fame.
Yep.
Very much worth your time
Speaking
watching.
of Dan O'Bannon, they're releasing his original screenplay in a comic format for Alien.
First issue's already out. I've actually got it coming in the mail.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Nice.
order that and read it.
And then Return of the Living Dead 2, directed by a guy who I believe said does not like horror movies.
Oh, how lovely.
Oh, those are always the best ones.
Yeah.
Funny enough, sometimes they actually work.
Cinematography by Robert Elswit of There Will Be Blood fame.
DPs have the weirdest fucking careers. I know it's been said 1,000 times off this podcast and on this podcast, but I can't reiterate how.
But yeah, Return of the Living Dead 2 I thought was okay. And then there's Return of the Living Dead 3, directed by Brian Usna. That's Justin's favorite of the trilogy. And the first one's my favorite. The third one I feel has the better story idea, but the second one I feel is the tighter told story.
I need to watch all of these in order.
And then there are some made for Sci-Fi Channel sequels that we don't talk about.
Exactly. Like most things on sci-fi.
Oh god.
I need to watch all of these in order just to wipe this mismatched memory I have. Because for some reason in my head, I've watched a lot of them, but they've all kind of blended together. And I need to go and revisit them so I can actually remember them individually for which movies they are.
Yeah.
Because it tends to blend. Obviously, the most recent, the 2004 one, I know that exactly what that is because it has more updated technology. However, the rest of the older ones, they just all blend together to me. Except obviously, Not a Living Dead, which is in black and fucking white. So I need to watch them all so I can get watch that memory of them all diluting together.
So with Brandon's recap of the Dead movies,
We'll move on to Brandon's
let's
favorite.
move on to Mark's favorite masks.
Oh, fine. The
Gee, I wonder if Scream's gonna be one of them.
it is one of them.
Basic.
I don't care. It's fucking great.
Uh-huh.
And based on a really famous painting. But some of these
What's
actually
the painting called, Mark?
Yeah.
the Scream.
Gee, how original.
The Edvar Munch's The Scream. So anyway, there's a couple different masks. One of them I love because the fucking joke that's attached to it is hilarious. Is the joke from Ready or Not when they talk about wearing masks back in the 80s.
Oh.
Jesus, I'm glad we don't have to wear the mask. It was the 80s, whatever. But actually, the masks were actually pretty cool. Like
That one scene made that big of an impression on
it
you.
did.
Supposedly, because
It
I don't
did.
even remember the masks.
And actually,
Yeah, it's like I remember there were masks. I don't remember what they
yeah,
look like.
same here.
I mean-
I thought they were like those masquerade Victorian era
Yeah.
bullshit.
they were like that. And I liked it. Set up the tone for the movie very well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, that joke was great. And the second joke after that, I have a fucking tea time at 8 in the morning. Goddamn,
I think I wanted to do this. It set up the tone really well of the movie, and I liked how it started like that in the creepy cult mind, and then it got to showing them as just normal rich people. it was just funny to know that all those people that were in the fucking eyes wide shut masks were actually like regular people, and they just got rid of the masks because they were ridiculous. But I actually enjoyed the masks because I enjoyed obviously the joke. Yes, it didn't make an impression on me, but the setup of the movie, it provided a lot of good flavor to the movie.
I'll give you the joke was absolutely hilarious, but
again,
I don't even remember the masks. Like,
they were very.
It was such a throwaway thing.
They were Victorian style masks and everything else, typical of what you would see with that kind of sacrificial ritual type deal.
Yeah, the basic
So,
shit. Fucking rich people.
And now
creativity.
Oh, for sure, 100%. So now, and I'm gonna get to the next one, which the movie was incredibly disappointing, and Ready or Not did the concept much fucking better. But I did.
Can I take a guess?
You already know what it is.
Is it Your Next?
You better believe it. I was actually very disappointed by the movie, but I actually did enjoy the masks.
I agree.
I think that
Snake, what the fuck are you doing?
Zack's cat loves a plastic bag
That David left here last week.
that has now made it its permanent bed. But anyway, but yeah, Your Next, phenomenal masks. It really set up good tension with the masks. They were really cool designs. Yes, the movie was probably, I would almost vote it probably the most disappointing horror movie I've ever seen. And a lot of that.
I don't know if I would call it the most disappointing I've seen, but it's definitely a contender.
You know, I've never seen anybody say it was a good movie. Everybody I've ever met that's watched this movie has always said it could have been great, but it was super disappointing.
And that's weird, because it's like if you go on the internet, a lot of people really like it. So
I've never met a human being in my life who said, it's great, it's amazing. No, everyone, it's always been consistent. This movie was really disappointing.
And you know what? And here's the crazy part about it. It makes all of like the number one spot for like top 10 most intelligent horror movie characters, horror movie decisions. And you're like, yeah, they're right, but that doesn't excuse the fact that it's just not a good movie.
I was bored by it.
So was I.
And what makes it even more disappointing is I know the movie they made after this, The Guest.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Which one was The Guest?
You don't remember The Guest?
Was that the one where you showed Victor the picture and it was the dude with the body and everything like that?
I showed you guys The Guest.
It was the Terminator.
Oh, okay, yeah. Great fucking movie.
Great movie. Like, there was just
And that director's doing Godzilla vs. Kong.
Dude, so this was a script issue. Like, it was not even a direction issue. Because I would actually, the direction's pretty good. It is a script issue of, let's just put in a bunch of, let's just put in a smart character in a horror movie, which they did. However,
Bless you.
Corona.
Thank you. However, they didn't make a character that I gave a shit about. Yeah, she's smart. She makes smart decisions. And yeah, she's like a survivalist and everything else. But, like, you told me nothing about the character to make me give a fuck about the character.
Where's the love?
There's zero with it. Like, and then also too, it had a stupid fucking ending too. So I was like, this is really disappointing.
Yeah, the ending was pretty dumb. With the cop coming in.
Yeah, and then like random ending. Like, and I was like, this is bullshit. And then and the funny thing is, I had obviously Your Next came out quite a bit before. Way before. But I saw Ready or Not, which is a similar situation. There are some points that are very, very similar with it. The direction of the plot is kind of similar. A woman against, in one location fighting off, a bunch of killers. There's obviously differences with it, but it is similar in structure. And I'm like, Ready or Not did this 1,000 times fucking better. 1,000 times better. If it was a burning fire and I had a choice between running in and grabbing Your Next or fucking Ready or Not, I'm grabbing Your Next.
The hard drives that have both original files of both movies are in danger.
Yes.
One of these days I'm gonna have to watch this goddamn movie.
Dude, honestly, man, it's the same thing. It's gonna be the same experience that you had with Maximum Overdrive. Brandon and I are just gonna say, we told you so. That's literally what it's gonna come down. You're gonna go, I'm just fucking bored. Like, and yeah, again, she does make some smart decisions. And there are some decent kills in it, for sure. There are some decent kills in it, and the effects are pretty good in that regard. But there's so many lack of character development, huge logic holes, and just overall, just I don't give a fuck about these people type of thing. But yeah, Ready or Not, and also a very wealthy family, and new girl coming in that's not coming from wealth, but she's being married into a wealthy family. So there's that. Like, it would be an interesting double feature to see, to see it that way. But yeah, I really wouldn't recommend it. And there's like one specific fucking plot hole that still to this day drives me nuts. And actually, it's not even a spoiler. You obviously know that these dudes in the masks are fucking, coming in to kill everybody.
Yeah.
They all use fucking crossbows and swords. And it's not a spoiler, but those killers have military experience. Drives me fucking insane. Like you have Green Berets, and their reasoning behind this was they didn't want the neighbors to hear the thing.
Where are their neighbors? I thought they were in the middle of the woods.
I mean, they are, but they have like neighbors that could hear gunshots. But I'm like, you're talking about Green Berets that have handled Black Op missions where silencers were necessary in that. You're telling me that if these guys actually had guns and they handled it like a Black Op mission, everyone would be dead. Everyone would be dead, and there'd be no fucking movie. Zero movie. But because this movie has to happen, that's their logic for it. And it's a plot hole that is driven.
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger around? Because he eats those motherfuckers for breakfast.
So what we need to do is the remake of Your Next, where they actually do treat it like a Black Ops mission. But the girl just barely survives. And when she gets back up to health, she tracks down these Green Berets one by one and kills them off. And they're the ones who are next.
See, that's fantastic. I would watch that. I'm pretty sure
I just pulled that out of my arsehole.
You can hang on to that though. You can. I don't need to touch it.
You don't want that story anymore.
No, I just don't. You just had to say it that way. You had to ruin it, didn't you, Bren?
I did.
We were having a nice moment, but you had to ruin it.
I'm still proud of myself. It's still a good idea, and you know it.
It is. I just wish you didn't.
Sure,
pull
it isn't.
I just wish you didn't pull it out of your ass.
I had to pull it out of somewhere.
The Thin Air. Could have tried that one.
You can't pull something out of nothing.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
For the sustainability of this argument, yes, you can. Anyway, yeah, phenomenal masks, just disappointing fucking movie.
Which one of the masks do show up at the party scene in The Guest? So if you really want to, you can say the animal mask that's in one shot of The Guest.
Nice.
If you don't want to give credit to a movie you don't like.
Fair enough. I do like The Guest though.
The Guest is really good.
The Guest is great. And then and guys, you already know. I'm gonna say Scream because you already know that was gonna be the case.
Gee willikers, what a surprise!
Fucking love The Mask.
I never would have thought Mark would like The Mask from Scream.
I'm a fucking.
What do you think of The Mask from the Scream TV series?
Funny enough, it's actually on my list.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get to that in a second. I love The Mask from Scream. There's obviously reasons why I do. I love Scream.
Mark, what are those reasons?
It's based
Do
on.
you like Scream?
Shut up, Zach.
What about Scream 3? The best Scream movie ever.
I like parts of 3. There's other parts I don't like. What does it say? I do have a fun time watching. I really do.
Scream 3 is the only one to feature Jay and Silent Bob.
That is also correct.
Another reason why it's the only good one.
And Carrie Fisher.
Oh, rest in peace.
That is
Who was also in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Scream 3 and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back have a lot in common.
They do. And actually, Wes Craven has a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep.
So
market research shows people like monkeys.
Yeah, I do love it, and then obviously too the practicality purposes of loving it because it's a cool mask and it's a simple costume. And also multiple people can wear it. That was the shtick of Scream. Not to mention cool. When somebody was talking about the mask, it actually got me more interested in masks because the whole thing related back to Michael Myers and then also Jason Voorhees which is that when you have somebody that's coming at you with a mask and a blade, you don't see even if you punch them in the face, you don't see any of that damage, and psychologically it makes that person that's behind the mask seem invincible. That was a big tactic with the Vikings back in the early battle days. Is that with no bruising, behind their masks, their enemy would get discouraged because they think they weren't making any progress in attacking them, which is what makes masks extremely effective in horror. Is because masks make these people, and obviously Michael Myers is, you can judge whether that's a person. Jason Voorhees is definitely not a person. He is some other being.
He's the undead.
Sure.
He's not undead until part 6.
Sure. But and then Scream is definitely very much a human being behind there. So it allows that thing to be invincible in the eyes of the person that's being attacked by them. What, Brandon? What?
He's thinking really hard about the Jason bit.
Don't think too hard about it. As Zack has said about the Friday the 13th movies.
Look, he becomes undead in part 6. He's not even in part 5 except for a dream sequence. And then he technically, officially, somewhat died in part 4 when Corey decided to go nuts on his fucking face with a machete.
Don't think too hard about this, folks.
Seriously, don't. Your head will hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what makes masks great in horror, is because they seem invincible. And when you have a situation where you can't, where that person doesn't show any kind of pain or any kind of damage to them, you're pretty much fucked. You're discouraged. You punch them in the face, you hit them with a baseball bat, and you don't see any of that damage, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. Not like that, you immature motherfucker. God, he's like 6 years old, maybe even less.
You're just
than
now
that.
realizing this?
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah,
he watches The Simpsons.
And that's and then also too.
What did The Simpsons ever do to you?
Everything.
A lot. And also too, Wes Craven said that about masks as well. He's like it's a way for psychos to put this persona on so they can exercise their demons without actually they can take off the mask and then they're a normal person again. But once they put on the mask, they can just do whatever the fuck they want. And it's a great way to split your psyche in that regard. So
the Gray Fox mask from Elder Scrolls of Oblivion.
Sure. So there's
put that thing on and your bounty immediately goes up to $1 million because you're a psychopath and murder everybody inside instead of being a thief like you should be.
Sure. These are all accurate things. But yeah, that's was my first love of horror movie masks. And then also the last movie, and then I'm just gonna do a quick television show and then 2 television shows and then a video game. House is October built. I love the porcelain mask just because I think it's fucking cool.
I've never been a fan of porcelain masks. I don't know.
It's kind of one of those things you either like them or you don't. Like I think it adds good atmosphere, especially considering in the houses that October built, like the masks kind of just show up in regular life. They're not like showing up in a situation where you would expect them to show up. Like in a creepy Victorian house. Or even in The Strangers, you have those type of masks. They're inside, with houses that October built, they kind of just show up randomly. Especially one scene where they bring the girl on to the RV bus, and she kind of just fucking sits there, and you can just feel the tension and awkwardness among all the regular people. And then she just literally gets up and then walks out the fucking bus. So it provided really, really good tension. And then Scream the series, which I did like the mask. It's not my 100% favorite, but I did dig it. I thought it was a nice little different take on it. And then Goosebumps, the actual mask.
That's a good one.
That's a good fucking mask. And then all the other masks were really good as well.
It's where the budget for the entire season went, but I mean, it's still a great mask nonetheless.
Maybe even possibly the entire series.
It very well could be.
So yeah, those are and that was my first exposure to like horror movie masks. So it has a special place in my heart. And I'm sure, obviously, you guys have watched those.
It's a good mask.
Those ones, yeah.
It is. It's a very good mask.
Yep.
Very expensive mask.
And then the video game that I picked was Bioshock. all the different Victorian animal masks that everybody was wearing.
If it wasn't for the fact that that game looks so goddamn ugly, I would maybe agree with you, but no, that game.
Yeah, Brandon's kind of out of this one. It doesn't really, So once again, we have the Howling experience. I love it. Zach hates it. Brandon doesn't know anything about it.
Fuck if we know!
I liked a lot of what was going on because there was simplicity to it.
It's a game where the environment looks amazing, the big daddies look badass, every character in the game looks terrible. Not in the way that they should. Like, I know they're all supposed to be deformed, it's just bad modeling. It was kind of fixed in part 2. Infinite, just fuck Infinite. But, yeah.
If you ever get a chance, play the remastered.
I did. I recently went through them like about maybe 2 months ago, or no.
Dude,
they were free for Plus, and I went through, again, fun games. Bioshock 1 still looks awful.
Disagree, but that's fine.
Awful in the characters. Environment looks fantastic. Weapons look great. And characters look god-awful.
Sure. I never saw an issue with them, but, that's your perspective. You're a little bit more nitpicky about that, too. But I love the mask with them. I thought it added really, really good environment. And then also, too, there's still the fucking, party masks that they wore from, 3 years ago that they still have on because the last thing that happened
I don't think it was that much time away from
1
when
year.
everything went to shit. I don't think it was even a year.
Was
it?
Yeah, it was about a year.
I don't know how long it was beforehand that everything just went complete shit, but...
It was a year or less than a year. Brandon, if you ever get a chance, phenomenal game. Play it. Even Zack, who doesn't care for how the actual characters look, even you will admit that it's
it's a fun game, and it has a great story, but like I said, the characters just look fucking terrible.
Besides that, it's a pretty awesome game. Definitely recommend
Absolutely.
playing it. And then that's it. That's the list. But yeah, definitely my favorite from the video game era. Definitely a lot of good shit with that.
Cool.
Brandon's like, I feel so left out right now. I don't know what to talk about with Bioshock. Your turn, buddy.
Bioshock.
Play it.
All right. Okay, where do I want to start?
That is your choice, sir.
I think I've talked about this movie before, so I'm just going to blow through this one real quick. But the 3 masks in Halloween 3, the skull, the pumpkin, the witch, very iconic masks. They show up in the 2018 Halloween movie. They show up in The Guest, actually.
Hey, Zach, Brandon likes Halloween Part 3? What?
I wonder if it has anything to do with his Lord and Savior, Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins' performance in Halloween 3 was really good.
Yeah, his performance in everything is really good. That doesn't mean it's a good movie.
It's still a good movie.
You have such a man crush on Tom
I
Atkins.
do not.
He's so admitted. I do not, kinda.
Tom Atkins and Fred Decker.
He's
Nothing
a good
could be bad by
actor.
those two.
RoboCop 3.
Wait, Fred Decker did RoboCop 3?
It ended his career. Pretty much.
Wow, I didn't know that was him.
But the guys who make Date Movie and Epic Movie and Meet the Spartans get to keep making movies, but
thanks to Netflix. But you're not.
a good point.
But you're not bitter.
No, you want to know what's worse than that? The assholes who keep making Sharknado and
That
now
too.
Zombie fucking Tsunami.
That is kind of a cool title.
No, it isn't.
yeah.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Stop.
Anyway. Definitely them. But
I do like Halloween 3, and I do like the masks. They're very good masks. All right.
Okay.
Are we here to talk about the movies, or are we here to talk about the masks?
Fair enough.
Both.
No,
This is the Nightmares podcast where we get off track very easily because, ooh, shiny.
Dog. It's a good point. Cat. It's a fair point.
Mark got to bring up the masks from Your Next, which we don't like, but we still took that they're good masks.
Fair enough.
So why are you ragging on me for bringing up the masks of Halloween 3?
Fair enough.
Which I do think is a good movie.
Fair enough. My hands are up, Brandon. Fair enough. They go on.
I don't want to anymore.
Oh! What are you going to do? Pull a Zack? What are you going to be like that, huh? I don't like The Simpsons. This is stupid.
All right, but yeah, I do like the Halloween 3 masks. And while I'm on the subject of the Halloween series, I have a philosophical question for you.
Oh,
If
is Brandon going to ask the question of the podcast today?
If you take the Michael Myers mask from Halloween and you paint it flesh colored, do you now have a William Shatner mask?
Yes. Well, okay, hang on. Which? You got to be very specific. Which Halloween are we talking?
The original.
Yes.
Okay, they've distorted it enough that it doesn't really look like it. I'll tell you what though, when Halloween comes around, we'll do it. We will go and buy a Michael Myers mask. We will do it for Instagram. We will make a video where we actually do it flesh colored, and we will see if it looks like William Shatner. Which, by the way, the original William Shatner mask also looks nothing fucking like William Shatner. So there's that.
Regardless, as
So
long
we
as
have
we're talking
so we have
Halloween
quite the margin of error here to work with. Then, is what
Pretty
you're
much.
saying.
Pretty much.
As long as we're talking Halloween Part 1, yes, I will agree. If we go to any of the other Halloween movies, maybe not even Halloween 2.
Halloween 4 looked weird.
Halloween 4 looked bad. His mask looked like something out of I don't even know. Like 4, 5, and 6 looked terrible.
Is it the one that they like extra bleached it? Like,
No,
so it's
like
super fucking white.
The shape of the face looked weird. The eyes looked weird. Everything about the masks in all those movies looked weird. Like in 1 and 2, they looked fine, but in those 3 specific,
Yeah,
it looks
fucking weird.
Yeah.
I'll say
I don't know why, but I want to start singing Mr. Roboto every time I see that mask.
Yeah, I get behind that. It looks so.
The rest of the Halloween movies afterwards, the mask looks fine, but those 3 movies, it's stupid.
It's Zack. This is what it would look like if they made a mask of Shatner now, and then they revised it to a Halloween mask. The way that Shatner looks right now versus how he looked in the original Star Trek.
You're talking about
series.
Halloween 4?
Yep.
God.
Brandon's like, that checks out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So moving on, I like the owl mask from Phantom of the Paradise, which
saw that one.
is a Brian De Palma movie. It's in the same. It would make a great double feature with Rocky Horror Picture Show and Repo the Genetic Opera.
I would probably dig this.
That's an interesting combination.
Yep, it's probably my favorite of those 3. But yeah, it's a Brian De Palma movie. Who also did Blowout, Untouchables, Carrie, Sisters.
Brian De Palma's awesome.
Blowout. That's the Travolta one that I need to watch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that soon because it's a great movie.
Sooner or
I want to
later,
watch
yeah.
it again soon. But yeah, Brian De Palma, one of my favorite directors, did Phantom of the Paradise, which is sort of like a rock opera-ish version of Phantom of the Opera. And pretty much it's about this owner of a record label who sold his soul to the devil, essentially to live forever and be young forever. And he's opening up a new concert hall called The Paradise. And there is a composer whose music he steals for the opening performance of The Paradise. And he basically frames that's the one.
interesting
So
one.
he frames the composer for all these crimes, and the composer tries to clear his name, and while breaking into the office, he gets chased by the cops, and he ends up getting disfigured. And so he comes back to wreak havoc on The Paradise, and it kind of just goes from there. I don't want to give away more after that. But that's
a
the
pretty
basic
interesting
setup.
concept.
Yeah. Paul Williams plays the owner of the record label. He has a cameo in Baby Driver. He was, when they went to pick up the guns and Jamie Foxx starred that whole shootout. They pretty much picked up the guns from Paul Williams. He also does the voice of the Penguin in the Batman animated series from the early 90s.
Oh, shit.
He's done a few things as well, yeah.
He's
gone around.
Other people probably know him from other things, but voice of the Penguin and Phantom of the Paradise are the 2 things that I know him best for. But yeah, really good movie, really interesting mask, really weird movie, and it's like there's this band that Paul Williams' character keeps trying to push called the Juicy Fruits, and they start out as like this 1950s nostalgia band.
The Juicy Fruits.
And then they keep like reinventing them as like every conceivable musical movement you can think of. Like it's just, they're such a corporate shill. And then there's also another scene that spoofs the shower scene from Psycho. That's really funny.
I feel like that's happening a lot more often than it should.
Well, and De Palma loves Hitchcock, so it's like you're going to see a lot of Hitchcock references in De Palma movies,
Of course.
especially in Dress to Kill, which is sort of, in a way, an unofficial remake of parts of Psycho.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Dress to Kill is a good one. It's with Michael Caine. But yeah, I highly recommend Phantom of the Paradise. It is weird. It is not the most straightforward, basic movie.
As long as it's entertaining, then.
Yeah, I think it's entertaining. It's just not a conventional movie.
Yeah, I mean,
And Jessica Harper was actually in both of them.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show and Phantom of the Paradise.
Rocky
Nice.
Horror Picture Show is a weird movie, but people go
Yeah.
nuts over that
Which
one.
I like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I do feel after a certain point it does kind of fizzle out, and
Yeah.
it's somewhere in its second half. Whereas Phantom of the Paradise, I feel, is on from beginning to end.
Okay, here's the question: Terror Firmer or Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that's a mask I really like. I also like the 3 masks worn by the kids, Lock, Shock, and Barrel in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nice. I like those. Yeah, I'm definitely down for that.
So Brandon is definitely more on the simpler side of masks,
Yep,
as we
not
can see.
not a whole lot to say about those masks, but I like those masks.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
It's funny because I was actually, when I was, right before I left for my second cruise ship, I was staying with a friend and her boyfriend. I was staying at their apartment, and this was right before Halloween, and they tried to make clay versions of those masks for their Halloween costumes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The clay turned out to be much heavier of a material than they thought, so it didn't quite work out. But it
How
was
thick were they making it? Because that really does make...
pretty decently thick, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be heavy as hell.
Yeah, they'll definitely add to the heavy.
But it was
Yeah.
still a neat thing to see done.
Yeah.
And then not a whole lot to say about this one either, but I like the mask that Eustace wears to scare Courage and
Oh,
Courage the
Jesus
Cowardly
Christ.
Dog.
That big-ass, deformed,
Yep.
ugly-ass thing.
Dude, that basically looks like the fucking piece of wood from Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
And then the last 2/3 that I like, there are 2 masks from the same TV show that I want to bring up, and then there's another mask from a movie that's not a horror movie, but it involves a horror movie.
All right.
So the TV show I'll cover first is Scream Queens, the Red Devil, and the Green Meanie. The Red Devil being the killer in the first season, the Green Meanie being the killer in the second season. Again, very simple Halloween type masks, but they're just unique enough that they really stand out in my mind. Scream Queens, I think, is one of the best TV shows of the last 10 years. I just think it's really funny. I really like the character. Like, the characters are basically caricatures of sorority and frat type people. Chad Radwell is the alternate universe version of Mark if Mark stayed in college.
Oh, now I really need to watch this.
Yes, you do.
Okay,
They're-
now here's the question. Are
Okay.
they currently dressed the same right now?
Actually,
Oh God!
For those of you who don't know, Mark literally looks like he just walked out of the goddamn country club.
I'm wearing a polo. It's a polo.
Exactly, it's a fucking polo and you're wearing khaki shorts
Zach, keep him busy while I try to look this up.
and white, what are those, Chucks or
Yeah.
just the
Shoes.
slip-ons? What's
Shoes.
wrong with you?
They're comfortable. What are you
Dude,
gonna do?
you need black denim jeans, steel-toe boots, a metal t-shirt.
Yeah, I also don't want to make a fucking soup underneath my clothes. When
You
it's
won't make a
nice.
soup underneath your clothes. You're gonna look like a badass and feel like a badass.
No, I'm gonna feel like shit.
Mark, if I ever see you dressed like this, I'm stabbing you.
See. No, not even I go that far. The
Oh my god, what a prick.
But you totally see it,
fucking
don't you?
hat's awesome, but yeah,
The hat's awesome? What are you, insane?
dude, I like fucking hats.
Zach, you
Yeah,
totally
you know,
see it,
I-
don't you?
Yeah, but
I
dude,
like hats. Yes,
dude,
I do.
Dude,
I agree.
I do not do the sweater. Dude, I don't do buttons like that.
Dude, if I see you with a sweater like that, buttons, or God forbid a fucking scarf, I'm going to... your other nipple's getting carved off.
I don't do scarves. The
Oh, for the love of
let me
Christ.
they're in around. Let me see.
Oh.
Oh no. 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 I
Who's
don't.
wearing a scarf?
I don't do that. No. That's a fucking sweat. That's a sweater tied around another sweater. That's the Carlton. He's doing the Carlton.
Look, no one could do the Carlton other than Carlton. I will allow Carlton because Carlton is awesome and hilarious. This prick, on the other hand, can kill himself.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't.
Does he at least die a horrible death?
In season 2. Spoiler alert.
Oh, damn it.
But
It's
yeah,
2 seasons too long.
in the first season, he actually... So basically the Red Devil is basically killing off people on a college campus. And Chad is just like, we need to take the streets back from the Red Devil. And he and his frat actually go with baseball bats and everything to the Backstreet Boys, Everybody Backstreet's Back. As they start taunting the Red
Wow,
Devil.
you're not kidding. This
out.
is Mark if he were still in college.
Oh god, the dude, Vinny and David would both be there, Rose. So it would be a one hell of a time.
I don't think you'd catch David dead in a suit like that.
No,
He
not
would
not our David. My buddy David Rose.
Okay. I'm like trying to pick. I can't even picture David in a suit like that. He would literally incinerate. Either that or Lily would incinerate him.
Oh man, that's awesome. But yeah, no, there's.
No, that's terrifying.
For sure, some of that, but not all that. I would
Like I said,
never
it is
do the fucking sweater.
It is the alternate universe version of you.
And I would,
Mark, if he wasn't introduced to heavy metal at one point.
sure.
There was just that 1% of heavy metal that got into him.
That's all it takes. That is all it takes, I swear.
The
Even 1% of metal can save a man's life. Everybody needs to convert.
This has been a Midwest Horror Network PSA.
No, dude.
If you don't want to be a pretentious prick, listen to heavy metal.
Actually,
it's awesome.
I would say it's the 1% of that, and then like the rest of the Italian culture, because like that shit would never be
Your
tolerated.
father would kick your ass.
Dude, my dad's a very fashion oriented guy, but even he.
No,
has
your
his
dad is
limits.
classy. There's a difference.
Dude, that's part of the deal, bro. But yeah, not even he would go that far. That's way too fucking Ivy League. Like that's painfully Ivy League.
Somebody you want to punch in the face just for approaching you. It's like, dude, you're just an asshole, aren't you?
That's the one that like will make you sign a petition that minorities are getting too close to the country club.
Oh God, no! Not even punch, stab in the throat.
It's like we like them, but we don't want them near. And
Fuck you!
I'm just going to face palm for the next 5 minutes or so.
That's the one who comes up. If he approaches you with a clipboard, everything he's gonna say is make your butthole pucker up. And
No,
go,
it's
"Oh,
gonna
God."
make you just be like, oh God, why?
Oh,
Why are
God.
you alive?
You know, just take the air out of the fucking room. No, dude. I'm a fashion oriented guy for sure.
Yeah, you tell yourself that, buddy.
But dude, my belt matches my shoes. That's one of the golden rules, and I know yours does too. But that's because you own everything black.
Look, black is simple. Black is awesome. Black is the color of my soul, and I
Anyway.
love it.
Anyway, Scream Queen's really good. Emma Roberts is in it. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
I really gotta watch it.
Chad Radwell also has an affair with Niecy Nash, a.k.a. Deputy Williams from Reno 911. She's
Yes. Well, you got Mark's attention.
Fucking love Rihanna. I won.
We know you do.
in it. Yeah, you need to see Scream Queens. It is hilarious, and I like the costumes in it as well. And then finally, and this is from a movie, not a horror movie, like I said, but it involves a horror movie. And that's so it's in Matinee. There's a movie called Mant, which is about half man, half ant, all terror. And basically there's a director coming to Key West, and he's showing off his new horror movie, Mant. And and the director's played by John Goodman, basically based off of William Castle, who's a very gimmicky director. Like William Castle did House on Haunted Hill. He had skeletons fly on ropes and conveyor belts in the theaters. He did the original 13 Ghosts.
I was just about to ask that with the 3D glasses thing.
It wasn't 3D, but it was like that red filter glasses where if you put on the glasses, you'll see like ghosts on the screen.
It was just straight red, just no blue, just
Yeah,
red.
it's not 3D. It's like have you ever worn those like plastic decoder glasses?
Yeah, for like
Yes.
the books and
Yeah,
everything.
it's like that.
Okay.
They have that. Oh, that's interesting.
So
Do you know
yeah,
if that movie's available with that feature anywhere?
I don't believe so. I do know there is a Blu-ray of the original 13 Ghosts, but I think it's just a bare bones. You just get the movie. I don't know if it has that version on it.
If you were to buy the red decoder, would you be able to do that?
Probably not. Gonna check and see if there are any special features listed on it, because I want this answer as well.
Because that would be super interesting. I wouldn't mind watching the original 13 Ghosts. When was that released? Was it 60s, 50s?
It would have
70s?
been 50s or 60s. 1960.
60. Okay.
Yes. Okay, Blu-ray released by Mill Creek Entertainment. No special features. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. So anyway, John Goodman's character in Matinee is releasing Mant, and as one of the gags, he has this kid, teenager, dress up as Mant, and there's of course this whole ant mask, and there's a whole subplot going on with his ex-girlfriend that I don't want to spoil because it's all part of the fun of the movie.
Awesome movie. Go watch it.
Fantastic movie. Go watch
So
it.
I like the mask, but I just like the subplot involving the Mant costume. And that's it.
Nice. Very nice. Very cool. You kind of covered a great question of the podcast, so I can't really compete with that.
Oh,
The whole
I'm
thing
sorry.
about the Shatner. No, I'm good because I don't have anything prepared, so we're good.
Oh, okay. I'm still sorry.
No,
dare you?
don't be. No,
I overstepped my bounds. I understand.
Nope, you took some work away from me. It's pretty great. So I don't have to come up with one out of thin air. I don't have to. See, that's how you
We're
do that.
still on that subject.
That's how you do
apparently.
that. Instead of pulling it out of your ass, where people don't want to be bothered with that. Anyway.
I'm sure there's somebody. I don't want to meet that person, but I'm sure there's
Oh
somebody.
yeah, I don't want to meet them either. So I think this is a perfect time for final thoughts. Zach,
Squirrels.
Brandon.
I like my masks more than yours.
Well, I guess my final thought is fuck me then. Masks are awesome. They make horror movies even better, and there's some great artistic design with them.
They also make murder a hell of a lot
Oh,
more
I
fun.
do have another final thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on our horror
Here's my
wall,
final thought.
we have Zack's Mars Attacks mask.
Nice.
And I was on a remote job for my legal videography about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And I had it so that my background was blurred. But of course, if I make like a sudden movement, like it'll take a second to like,
Refocus.
refocus it. So basically while we were waiting for people to show up, I kind of just moved my head a little bit and the Mars Attacks mask got unblurred for just a quick second. And one of the lawyers actually said, I think your Mars Attacks mask on your wall is awesome. It's a really underrated movie.
Love that movie.
Nice.
It is a very underrated movie, but yeah, I just thought it
Yes,
was
it is.
funny. It's like there's this, high-priced lawyer sees my Mars Attacks mask, pays me a compliment.
Hey,
Made my day.
Everybody's got hobbies. Everybody's got a different approach.
That mask has gotten a lot of compliments. I'm very happy about that.
I'll tell you guys a funny story after the podcast. But that being said, Brandon, you want to sign us off?
Yes, thank you for listening to the Nightmares Podcast. Don't forget to like this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us. Follow us on all of our social media at Midwest Horror Network, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and
Slasher. And of course, you can go ahead and listen to the audio version of this podcast directly on Spotify or Anchor under the Nightmares Podcast. Obviously, on the video, it's only showing a little bit of a logo, but if you just want the audio version of that, go ahead and check that out. We do have a lovely donation box. Any donations that you do give to us go directly to all of the wonderful things we do here at Midwest Horror Network.
and that is set up on Anchor. And you can see that in the description of this YouTube version.
Some of those other things that those contributions would go to would be our awesome narrative show, Living Nightmares, where we take real life experiences that have happened to people that are horror oriented and we put them to film. We have 3 great episodes up right now with a 4th one on its way. We also have a phenomenal show called The Screaming Room where we take lesser known horror movies, we react, comment, watch,
Discuss.
discuss, laugh, have a good time.
Indeed we do.
Indeed we do. And then, of course, check out Zach's solo show, Let's Play a Game, where Zach takes a look at all these wonderful horror video games, plays, and reacts to them. So, and then, of course, thank you very, very much. And Brendan says, tell everybody all about this, your aunts, brothers, sisters, uncles, best friends, and click that little button so you don't miss a single bit of content from us. Thank you very much. See y'all later. Bye.